first of all. Okay, that helps a lot. You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, WCEG Network. I'm Dr. Charles Ross, the host of Your Personal Finance for the next hour or so. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio and at WCEG Network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions on this show is those of the host and the guest and not of the WCEG Network. Thank you for your support. Well, I've got an exciting guest. Alex Edwards owns his own brokerage. He's a young guy too. I think you're under 30? 30?
No, I'm 35.
Oh, 35. Okay, yeah. You're close to my daughter's age. But he has two things that is going to be interesting, and you'll see in just a minute that he's talking about. One of them is how he bought real estate for his children. And then the other one that he is initiative that he's talking about is mortgage before marriage. And then hopefully, if we have enough time, I'm going to take the quiz to see how I work out. Alex, welcome to the show, Your Personal Finance. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing mighty fine. Just give us some background, on who you are, where you grew up, your education, that kind of thing, before we get started, so we can just get a baseline as to who we're talking to.
All right, great. I'm Alex E. Edwards from Boston, Massachusetts. I grew up in a community called Phil's Corner, in a town called Dorchester, again in Boston, Massachusetts. In high school, I took the first time home buyers class. That's how I got exposed to real estate. Fast forward, I went to college, and I took business administration. We had to come up with a project and run it like a business. So I had to go out and buy something and run it like a business. So at 20 years old, I bought a multi-family. When I came back to school, I told them what I did, what I bought, and they was extremely excited for me. And then I also told them that I had to drop out of school because I couldn't pay for mortgage and school. And fast forward, 23, I was working in the banking industry, and I quit at 23 and never looked back. Never clocked in since 23. That's a little quick intro. Wow. And I jumped into real estate.
That's interesting. We share a common background. I spent about 10 years in banking, and left banking to do something like what you did, to start a radio show. I ended up as vice president of investments for what is now Wells Fargo. But so that's interesting. I left the bank to start a business. You left the bank to start a business. Now, how did you, you're 20-something, 19, 20-something, and you get this assignment, or sort of like a homework assignment, a project, to go and buy something and run it. Why did you choose? You said you took a class, the first time home buyers class. What excited you about that to make it, be something that you'd want to do as a business? What kind of clicked with you?
Real estate was always fascinating, right? And I never knew how important it was, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I learned money at Bank of America, right? And it's the difference between learning money and learning like a mortgage. Like, you have to understand how to leverage money. And I got fascinated with that, and understanding that people could actually pay for your life. I was all in.
Because when I was in banking, your banking experience might have been different from mine, because back in, I was in banking from 80 to about 90. And I didn't learn much about money. I started out as a teller, believe it or not.
Me too.
And I think I'm making $700-800 a month. We believe that. I don't know what that's equivalent today, but anyway, I can't say I learned a lot about money. So your experience was totally different from mine. What I did know, what I learned, was from my dad. My dad owned 2 dry cleaners, that I wanted to be in business. And so radio, I started as a DJ. I wanted to own the radio stations. But anyway, so your experience was totally different, from that perspective in terms of doing that. So now you you have this real estate, you have this
Mhm.
property. Can you give us some idea? I mean, how much did it cost?
Yeah.
How much you have to put down?
Oh, I could get in. So,
Okay.
so I had this property, and so my first tenant, I move out my mama house. I'm happy to jump out. Like, I'm on my own, right? So I move out mama house, and I'm all like, this is some lonely stuff, right, going on here.
Mhm.
Going home and just being by yourself. And then I had an adjustable rate, right? So that hit me. I'm like, wait, what's the adjustable rate? What's going
Mhm.
on? I went from around 2 to 3, like that.
Wow.
So I decided to rent the property out, right? So a friend introduced me to this female. I mean, this female was beautiful. I
Mhm.
mean, the curves, oh my, I was like, wow, she looks like she paid rent. I didn't take no background, no background. I didn't check the background. I didn't check credit. I didn't check nothing. I'm like, you too good to lie to me. You right? That woman never paid me to this day.
Wow.
so,
You
so,
took no
so,
deposit, nothing?
oh man, I'm all like, look, look, it was stupid, right? It was stupid, immature, it was everything. It was just dumb, right? But
Mhm.
so I used my credit card to fix the other floor, my credit cards to fix the other floors, and then I moved my family in, so I was getting rent there, and then eventually, that first floor tenant got out, and I paid 389 for that particular home in 2006, right? And then what I did, I read a financial book and I learned all about bankruptcy, right? And of course, in our community, bankruptcy is the worst word you can even throw around. This means
Right.
you broke. But in other communities, that's actually a tool to get ahead. And I used it as a tool to get ahead. So I got rid of the junior loan, right? I got rid of the junior loan and then I did a loan modification, right? And so around that time, all homes was upside down. So I took advantage of that, right? And so from paying 380.89, that particular home right now is I think it's like 170 right now, right? And then I got a fixed loan for the next 30 years. And so I
Well, hold
went
on, back
from
up for a second. You said with 389, that's how much the house cost for you to buy.
yep.
And so now the house is worth 170?
No, no, no.
Oh,
I took the 89,000 off. Bankruptcy took the junior loan, right? So when you
right.
file bankruptcy, they're gonna take the second loan because the first loan, it's the loan, is the boss,
Right.
right? The second loan is like the part-time job, right? So the
Mhm.
part-time job, no one cares about that part-time job. So when you file bankruptcy, you get rid of the part-time job. So I'm down to 300 now, right?
Got
So
it.
I find a mortgage um, modification, and they brought it down to the market value. So at that time, market value was about 170,
Wow.
and then they fixed my rate based on market value, right? So I went from 23 3,000 to 1,100, and I've been paying that ever since for
Wow.
two to, for a two family in Boston. And right now, two families are going for around 800,000 to 900,000 in my city, in that same
Wow.
area.
And you still own that property?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your introduction to real estate was kind of dramatic then, obviously,
Very
and
dramatic.
getting in. And why didn't you quit? I mean, you could have said, hey, you know what? This is just too much work. I can go give me a job. I'm tired of
It
this.
was too embarrassing.
It's too
I was too
embarrassing
embarrassed.
me to tell your friends that, hey,
Yeah,
I failed.
I was too embarrassed to quit. I was just too embarrassed to quit. I don't know. It was just too embarrassing to quit. So I'm like, you know what? I want to figure it out. Put my back against the wall, and I figured it out. I just seek the knowledge. That's all, and then I executed.
And a lot of times, I know in my business career and in my personal lives, you learn a lot more from your failures than you do your successes. What did I do wrong? And
Yep.
you start being introspective and reflecting, and you say, okay, because your successes, you're on a high. You're like, man, I'm the man. I did it. He can't tell me nothing. But when you fail, you're humbled a little bit. And you say, okay, that didn't work out. What about now? And when you read the biographies, and I'm sure you read some,
Hmm.
millionaires and billionaires, a lot of them failed a lot
Yeah.
before they became successful. They just didn't give up, you
Yep.
know. And I think that's the key. People have to understand that. And, you know, a lot of people are, you know, as you said, you probably, you know, inundating is that afraid of failure. You know, they're afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You know, some people they say afraid of success. No, most people can deal with success to some extent, but it's the failure
I
that
think
bothers you.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think some people are embarrassed of their success. I think
Hmm.
they feel uncomfortable with their success, right? Because sometimes people not people that's around you or family or friends is just not on the same level. So it's kind of like, I don't want. I feel kind of embarrassing, you know. And
Hmm.
on the other note is some people don't feel enough, right? You're comfortable, constantly always comfortable, not doing nothing to take your life to the next level. You're secure. You're not learning anything. You're
Hmm.
like you're not going nowhere. You're standing
Right.
still. You're on a treadmill, right? So
So let's go back to your childhood. In the Newsweek story, you talk about you ate waffles from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
yep,
Is that true or is that an
that's true.
exaggeration?
Look,
Just really?
my mom was never home because she was trying to keep her home, and
Right.
never understood she was never home because she was trying to protect something that she never could relax and enjoy. So that concept is crazy to me, right? So
Mhm.
therefore, no heat, no food, but we had a roof,
Right.
right? And we didn't have, like I said, no food, no heat, but we had a roof. And honestly, maybe that was the first. It, thinking back, that was the first education in real estate for me. My mom owned that particular property, right? So, and it is what it is. But that's my shiro. That's my
Yeah.
shiro right
Yeah.
there.
We'll talk about that. You talk about her
Yep.
and what you've done for her in terms
Yep.
of paying it back. So now you bought this home, and you're getting. I guess you're house hacking. You're living in one of the rooms, and then you're renting out the other one.
Yeah, I
Is
use my
that
401k. I use my
okay?
401k to finish the basement floor, and then I got my obviously you get the money back because you rent out the basement. So that's what I did. I used my 401k, and I didn't even finish paying back. I left the bank and had a finished basement, rented out for I think about 5 years. After that, I moved down
Mhm.
there and stayed down there for probably 6 years. Um, and then yeah, yeah.
And so now you're a real estate. Well, I'm kind of jumping ahead.
I'm
So
okay.
you decide to become a real estate agent. At this point, you're not a real estate agent yet. When you bought the house,
No, I'm not.
okay. So you decided you quit your job and then went to real estate school to get your license and all
Yep.
that.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. And so why did you? I hear you. So explain why you decided to become a broker. What was the interest in?
So so it's funny. I was in a company where, and I was there. I was there number one. I had this slogan called Alex E. Edwards for your real estate agent,
Hmm.
most trusted real estate agent, and that was on the radio. That was everywhere, and I was just pushing that, just branding myself. That's extremely important to me. And so, um, another agent came into the office and was getting paid way more than me. So I'm like, no, that don't make sense. I'm selling more homes. I'm doing more. Why? It didn't add up to me. So I was like, all right, bet. I went to the brokers like, I want a raise, right? And I did it all wrong because my raise was based on someone else getting paid more than me instead of what I was doing. Right? I should have been
Hmm.
asked for a raise, right? But I'm counting someone else's pocket now, which was totally wrong on my behalf, right? So therefore, he was like, nah, you can't have it. I said, okay, cool. So I put 90% all over my house. 90%. That's what the other agent was getting, 90%. And I was like, oh man,
90% of the commission.
commission, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put that all over my house. I want 90%, 9%. And a friend was like, Alex, why you want 90% when you can have 100%? And I was like, 100%. So so I went to get my brokerage license. I went, my brokerage license, my sales license was going to expire July 10th that year. And I failed the broker's test twice. And I said, you know what? God, if this is for me, I'm gonna make it happen. Just show me the light. If it's not for me, I'm not renewing my sales license. I passed that test July 8th. July 8th, I became a broker. Went back to my broker, and he said, Nah, I don't want to partner with you. I said, no problem. We good. And started my own company. And that's history after that.
Wow. Wow. So your broker that you was working with didn't want
Hmm.
to partner with you now that you had your broker's license. So you said, okay, deuces, I'm out. Let me
Yep.
go create my own thing.
Hmm.
So walk us through, what happened. So you walk out, you say, you pick up your proverbial little box,
I do
walk
a
out
lot
the
of
door.
now to think about it, I did a lot of walking out. I walked out on the banking street. I did a lot of walking out,
Uh-huh.
and I walked straight out of the adjustable rate. I walked out of that.
Right.
And yeah, now I walked out of the brokerage.
And so you walk out the brokerage. What
Hmm.
do you do next? I mean, I guess you got to
I
incorporate all that.
advertised. I'm
Yeah.
on social media. The biggest thing I did that worked. I made everybody come and take pictures in front of this sign behind me, right? And now once they did that, I tagged the person. Once I tagged the person, the name was now going everywhere on social media. It was just everywhere. After that, ran some more radio ads. Game over. It was thumpering, 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 and everyone loved my energy. So one by one. So right now we have over 24 agents. I'm in Atlanta. Hey, I am in Georgia, Thumbprint Realty, and I'm in Rhode Island and
Wow.
Massachusetts.
So you're in Atlanta now.
Yep.
How's that? I mean, you have agents here that
I,
or office,
I have one. So I have one. I just closed the office because you don't need an office anymore. To be
right?
honest with you, but now I'm on. Now I have one agent. It's fairly new, and looking to grow top of next year to just add and focus on Georgia.
So you picked Georgia because an agent signed on with your company, or did you market to Georgia to select an agent out of Georgia?
I love Georgia.
Okay,
I used to go to Atlanta probably 3 times a year,
okay,
before having a license there. I love the culture,
mm,
and I think it was fascinating to, and we don't have this in Boston. You could pick a neighborhood where it's a phenomenal wealthy neighborhood, and most of the people look like me.
right.
We don't have that in Boston at all.
Oh, really?
Not even a little. Not even a little. Good neighborhood don't look like me, and that's it, right? And and it's the I just love Atlanta. It's just different. So in
Atlanta's
my
a great
mind,
city.
I think in Georgia, in my mind, I think I'm moving down this one day. So, maybe I'm just pushing the envelope.
Well, Atlanta's a great city, very competitive.
Yep.
I mean, because everybody's mother and father is into real estate or want to be.
Yep.
And so you have a lot of competition. And I'm a real estate investor, true disclosure here,
Hmm.
but I don't invest in Atlanta. I
Hmm.
invest south of Atlanta in Macon, Georgia.
Hmm.
And I'm a buy and hold kind of guy.
Hmm.
And I focus on, me and my wife focus on sub 50 market properties.
Hmm.
And there's Atlanta, Macon, Columbus, Nashville, no, Chattanooga, and Birmingham are those markets where you can buy properties for 30, 40 grand, rent them out for $600 a month.
Mm.
You do the math on that. I do that every day. And I found a bank that will lend, because most banks won't lend under 50 or 75,000. So I got a bank that we work with, with 15, 20% down. They finance the rest. They'll finance 20,000. It's
Mm.
amazing. But anyway, I digress. Um, so now you've got this real estate empire now with being a broker, and you're mostly in Boston and Rhode Island and a little bit in Atlanta.
Hmm.
So now, at some point, you decide to buy a house for your son. Well, you got married, first of all.
Hmm.
Let's talk about that. You met your wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met my wife on Match.com,
Okay.
and so we was getting serious, and marriage talk. Women love to bring up marriage talk.
Right.
Everyone loves to bring up marriage talk. Your mama will bring up marriage talk if she see the woman more than 5 times. It's marriage talk, right? Now having a year go by, oh, I seen her 5 times. I think that's the one.
Mm.
You know, um, but it was, if you want a ring, I want to see a closing. I want to be at a closing. If you want a ring, you better get a mortgage first, right?
Mm.
We all know finances will break you or make you, and and broke can't, like, love don't survive broke. We could live this lie and have your parents say go to school, go get a job and get married and get kids. That's bull crap. That's I don't even know why we rushing for love, right? Love comes more often than $1 million. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Okay.
fact. Love come more often than money. You know, you could hang around a lot of friends that love you. Y'all
Mm.
broke, y'all have love, right? But let's talk about finance and bring that into the relationship. Let's talk about finance and solve problems that we will have later, so we can focus on love. You ever made love without no worries, and it feel better? Hey, does it feel better? Like seriously, it feels great. Like you don't have to talk. You don't have to, rush to love because you got to get back to work, or you're thinking about this bill you didn't
Hmm.
pay.
Right.
Right? It's all the mental. It's all the stuff that stressed us out. It's always come back to finances. So why can't we just take care of finances first as an individual and then find love?
Got it. Got it. So when you met your wife, I mean, on the first date, did y'all talk money?
On the first date, we I can't remember on the first date. It was very early. I
Very
know
early.
that.
Okay.
Very early. Yep, it was very early. We talked money, and we could have. She's a saver. She's a saver. She saves. She save. She's a saver. Um, and she's been saving since she was her early 20s, right? So when I met her, she actually had a lot of money saved, but it wasn't
Wow.
doing anything. She didn't have
You
no
married up,
home.
huh?
I, yeah, definitely,
I'm just joking, man.
definitely. And you know what? And she just wasn't doing nothing with the money. So
Mhm.
she took that leap of faith and she purchased a home. And on that particular home, I believe she was making 3,700 a month profit.
Wow.
So you know what
So
that
you,
means?
so you're not married yet, but you're
Nope.
mentoring her
Oh,
into
oh
how to buy a
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Okay, so that was a connection right there. So you
Yep.
had that connection that was beyond just, the intimacy. It was more about, okay, do we have a partnership, not just in the marriage, but also in
Hmm.
business,
Hmm.
commonality, a mindset that was, and that's the way me and my wife are. We have the same mindset. So now you get married, your wife, your soon-to-be wife has bought a house,
Hmm.
and so now what? You get
So
married.
now the tenants pay for our wedding. They wasn't invited though. So and that's the game. That's the We want someone else to pay for our life.
Right,
Let's be honest,
right.
right? Like we want you get those big units. Why? Because they paid for that shirt.
Got it.
You know
Got
what I'm
it.
saying? Everyone say, "Oh, I don't want to be a landlord. Too much headache." Well, you a tenant with headache. The difference is the tenant's gonna pay for my time or no.
Right.
You're gonna pay for yours, right? So again, everything always come back to finances.
Mhm.
Mortgage before marriage. So
That's awesome. So you get married and you have your first child.
mhm.
So tell us about what you did when you.
So yeah, so we get married and we purchased more homes, and then we had our first child, and so when he was 2, we had the opportunity. We found a home, and we decided this particular home was going to be his. Right? We took him to the closing. He acted like he was signing some papers, caught it all on video. And the point, why that is so important is again, he has a chance to fail, right? Imagine the 9 to 5s that people hate, dread going to. I used to hate the banking industry so much on Fridays. I used to hate Fridays because I knew Mondays was right around the corner. Like,
Mm,
oh, Friday, I love, Monday, man. God, man, it's right around the corner, right? Um, Imagine if I stayed in that box. Imagine that. So imagine our children not having the not learning um to get the courage, right? To grow this courage to try anything new because they in this box. Society keep us in this box. You work here for 30 years, 40 years, get you a nice pension and a nice retirement, and you can move to Florida and die. That's it,
And what
right?
people don't understand, Alex, is that I'm in education. Came to education after 20, 30 years doing the financial radio show and stuff. But anyway, what I learned in getting educated and getting my PhD is that education was designed, okay, to provide folks to work in factories. Think about it, that you're going to sit in the factory, they want workers. That's what it was designed to do. But now, of course, things are changing now, and the current model, this doesn't work. And with this pandemic, we have found that you can teach your kids from home. Guess what? We said, no, a teacher has to be in a building. Well, guess what? It has really changed. And that one thing, they said we couldn't do that. And of course, a lot of companies said that, they couldn't have workers work from home. Well, guess what? They were forced to. Right. So, now we have a whole new paradigm. I say all that to say that because we don't really have folks working in factories in mass, all that has moved overseas to China and other places. Now, what do? And we have to reinvent education. I say all that to say that there's an opportunity in anything. And now, as you said, I just believe that everybody doesn't need to go to college. Okay. I'm from New York. I grew up in the Bronx. And one of the things that we had trade schools in high school. You can learn a trade, how to be a carpenter, how to be a woodworker, how to be an electrician, a plumber, all these type of things, how to be HVAC, all these things. A nurse, you don't have to have a 4-year degree to be a nurse. Do 2 years, okay? So my point is that everybody doesn't have to go to college to do that, but you should have an opportunity to fail. And I think that's what you're talking about. And I think the bigger issue is that you can explore your passions and see if you really like them, okay? Because you may like working in a bank, but once you start working in a bank, you're like, nah, that was cool. I don't want to do that. And would you have the income that your son will have from this property and may have more, that's going to make a difference. So you bought this property for your son. Give us the mechanics on how that works, because as we all know, a minor can't own property because it's you have to sign a contract, and minors can't sign contracts. That's interesting, because a lot of people don't understand these child actors and things like that their parents or their guardian controls their money because they're young, they're 12, 13, 10, 8, and they can't sign a contract. And so, an adult has to sign the contract for them and, be and kind of, shepherd their money. So you bought this property. Tell us what you had to do to make it your son's own.
So actually, the first thing you want to do, you want to understand the difference between a will and a trust, right? And the will, we created a will a long time ago. That's instructions, right? I will say instructions. This is just directions. This is GPS, right? And then the trust is like, all right, you know what? We trust what's in this document because it's filed and recorded. A will is like, all right, is instructions, but the judge, you still gonna meet the judge to make sure that they could trust somebody to execute what's in the will. Without a trust, you skip the will, right? With the trust, you skip the judge, right? So one thing for sure, you want to understand what you want to put in the will and what directions you want to leave. Again, mine's is simple. What we've been writing down and we've been adding a lot is he has to be doing the right thing, right? If he's not responsible, it's not his. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. If he's not doing the right things, if he's not taking care of the home around 16 and he just don't have the mind to do so, guess what? It's not his. It's that simple, right? So I think if other parents want to do this, instructions is extremely important, because if I give this to him and he don't understand what he has, that could destroy him. Wow. That could destroy any child, right? Too much power and you can't handle it, that could turn him lazy. He could spend the rent money on stupid stuff. Like that could destroy my son. So he has to be doing the right thing, right?
Well, is there a name for the trust that you have? Is it a certain kind of trust?
So we kind of, we don't know which one particular we will settle with, right? For him per se, right? We definitely did the will thing, and we like just working on a trust because it's too much work. I'll give you an example. we left directions. We write out directions with our attorney. He has to do the same thing for his children, right? So it's a lot of rope that just my kids have to actually jump through,
Right.
right? Um, and and or else it reverts, right? So again, it's extremely important to write directions. I seen it with my friends that their parents left them stuff and they blew it. I have a friend right now received a 3 family in a will and she
Hmm.
lost it just like that.
Wow.
3 families. So I don't want the same. So that's why I'm taking my time to actually write all the instructions, um, the rules to make sure it actually survives the next generation. Because at the end of the day, if I don't put the rules in, now it's just like, all right, he could sell it.
Right.
I'm done. I'm gone. Oh, I'm going to sell it. No, that's no.
Is your trust something that my kids were young, my kids are grown, but when my kids were young, I had an irrevocable trust,
Hmm.
and I had $1 million life insurance policy.
Hmm.
I should have had put real estate, but anyway. So like I say, if I had died while
Hmm.
they were minors, the $1 million would go into the trust.
Hmm.
And then, as you're explaining, the trust had certain instructions that they could do this, they could get certain money at certain ages, and they had to do this and do that. Let's say they get 100,000 at 18 or whatever to go to college or whatever, do whatever they want. They get another lump sum at 22, 23 when they graduate. Then they get another one at 30, and so on. Because kids will blow money. You might go and take that money and go and buy a Maserati or something. Okay, you did that. Guess what? You ain't getting no more for 5 or 6 years. So you're on your own. For that period of
And
time.
I don't
Is
want that.
that
I don't want that.
so? Is
Mine's
that what you're doing now, as far as
nope.
putting
I don't
instruction?
want to. Not based on age. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Um, I was 25. I wasn't ready for a lot of money.
Right.
So I'm not doing no age. It literally is based on what you're doing in life,
Okay.
right? And then two, I have the whole and I have the term when it comes to life, right? When it comes to life assurance, right? So it's no, no, not at all. Again, this could destroy my son. This could destroy my children, right? So if I'm not ready, think about it. At 30 years old, or even 40, and I don't have the mindset, that money's gone. You just destroyed the next generation's gone, right? That's why probate property is so popular because the kids didn't buy the actual home. So
Mm.
they willing to sell it. I live in California, the home is in Boston. Oh, let me sell that home right away. I don't have time to deal with it. So if the home is worth 500, they selling it for 250,000, right? I'm
Right.
passionate about this. So I can't do it.
So
I can
you plan. So you have nine houses.
Yep.
So you just have one house in the trust that you're gonna have in the trust, or is it gonna be multiple
No.
houses that you put in?
So I have two, one for my son and one for my daughter. All right.
Okay.
We actually starting renovations for my daughter in 3 months. That's it. That's the only two, right? That's the
Okay.
only. So if I'm survive, if not if I've survived, while I'm alive at 16, right? We then say, all right, you're ready for this. Then the income will start going to them in their name, right?
Got it.
Their particular home is on an LLC, right? So boom, the income goes to them, and now they create an income at 16 to 18. Then they get on my credit card. Now they have credit income. At 18, they should buy their own home. One
Got
of
it.
the rules. At 18, they should be all set by their own home. They can use the rent for education purposes. We will not pay for no education so whatsoever. No education so whatsoever.
So that's
So
kind of their college fund, so to speak, if they want to go to college,
if they want to, or they can start a business.
start a business.
Yep.
Okay.
They can only spend rent money, making more money, or education. Only those two. They can't buy a vehicle, they can't go clothes shopping, none of that bull crap. It has to be, all right, I'm taking this funds for.
Got it. So you're not going to put any more. Just that one property will be in there. And you mentioned you have some insurance, some life insurance to go with
Yep.
it. So
Yep.
is the insurance? I'm a guess that the
Yep.
insurance is designed to pay off the mortgage on
No,
the
I'm not.
property.
I don't believe in paying off mortgages at
Okay.
all. Not even a little bit.
So
And it
what's the
makes
life insurance for? Just extra money or?
yeah. I did life insurance at 23. Right. I didn't
Okay.
have kids. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a girlfriend. But
Mhm.
I knew my body was healthy enough to get the best rate. So why
Right.
would not do it now?
Right.
So
Okay.
that's a no-brainer.
And so I'm assuming that, over the next 15, 16 years that you'll be teaching your kids all about real estate. So by the time they get to 16, they're going to be well-versed in real estate and what it means and what it's understanding. And, their choice about whether they decide to go into that business or not, it's going to be based on their interests and stuff like that. So, but they'll have the knowledge to be able to do that. That's a great, great concept, an idea.
I think they could use it as a vehicle. They don't have to be in it, but they could use that. They don't have to love it, but use it as a vehicle to go to the next level. That's it, right? It don't have to be your career, but just use it to get to
getting that income that's coming in. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you're gonna have 2 children. You plan on having any more children?
Nope, I'm out the game.
Yeah, that's it. 2, and that's it. Boy and a girl, huh? Okay, so now you have the 2 kids, and let's talk about your condos that you're building in your neighborhood. So now you're a developer, you're a real estate agent, a broker, and now you're a real estate developer. Yep. Tell me how that came about.
So the Carter, that's what we called it, the Carter, like after my son. So a neighbor came and, one of my agents knew a neighbor on that particular street was selling land and didn't know nothing about building, jumped right in. And I just found out building is somewhat easier than even purchasing a 8-family home, right? You get the land. This is simple. You get the land, you pay for the land, and once you have permits, you then can go to the bank, and the bank will pay 100% of construction. So I'm like, this is a no-brainer. So now you could build your 8 units and not pay for nothing when it comes to construction.
How many times you got to do that, right?
Right? It's a no-brainer. Versus you find a home, you put down 3.5 as your first home, and then put down some closing costs. And imagine if your second home and you don't know the ropes, right? Imagine if your second home and you go and fall for the 20%, 25% trap. That's 25%. You might as well just buy land and build. So I'm having fun with it. We actually putting in windows tomorrow, and we starting windows tomorrow, and yeah.
How many condos are you building?
3.
Okay.
3 condos. Yep.
So they're separate units, or they're part of a building.
So we have in Massachusetts, we have like 3 families.
Okay.
So on top of each other.
Okay.
Right. So the basement and the first floor is 1 unit, so it has 2 levels.
Right.
Sorry about that. Let me mute that.
Let me go pull up while he's going to do that. I'm gonna pull up this article if I could find it. Where is it? There it goes. All right, there goes the article.
Yep.
So you're explaining how they have how you have the condos, 3 condos in one, I guess.
Yep.
And so you said the first floor and the basement is 1.
Yep. So the first one, the basement is 1. It has 2 levels, and then the second floor 1 level, and the third floor has 1 level.
Okay. All right. Trying to find that part about the condos. But anyway, go ahead. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
I thought I could find it real quick. So you have 3 condos, and so you gave me an idea. So you found some land, and that the bank will finance 100%.
They finance 100% of it.
Now this sounds too good to be true. Okay. Do you have to have good credit? I mean, explain why the bank would do that.
You have to have decent credit, and the bank is going to leverage your land, right? If they're saying, okay, you could build this particular property in this space,
okay,
right? They're going to do the ARV, right? And so they want to understand the value after it's built.
Explain ARV for folks.
So it's after
explain
repair
ARV.
value.
What you mean? What does ARV mean?
After repair value?
Yeah, after repair value. Okay, go ahead. All right.
Right. So they want to know what the value of the home is going to be once it's built.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm just throwing out these numbers, I bought the land for 120, right? The building is going to be about 800,000. That's 920, right? Each condo on a right now, the first one about 600, the rest 550. No brainer. I will give you the money for that.
So they base the price of those condos based on comps in the area. Is that what they do?
Correct. So you
Okay.
want to get 3 homes in that particular area or 3 condos in that particular area that's going to fit the size, right? Bedroom size, bathroom, same bathroom count, and then that's how you go and get your ARV, right? That's how you're going to come up with the comp. This is what appraisers use, right? So once they see that, again, it becomes a no-brainer. So now they're saying, well, I know I'm going to secure my interest on this particular property, and I know this person's going to pay. If he or she doesn't pay, we foreclose, and we probably going to win more than anything.
Right, right. Wow, that just sounds too good. You buy a piece of land,
Mm-hmm.
you decide to build on it, you find some comps in the area for what you want to build, and the bank is going to lend you 100%.
100%. You have to get permits. It had to be permanent. It cannot be raw land that's not permanent. So the city has to agree to what you're building. They
Honey,
have
I
to go
think we
through.
hit the jackpot. I think
You
that's
got
your
to go through
strategy.
zoning. You have to go through zoning. But once you have permits, you can leverage your land.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. That's awesome. So are you focusing more on the real estate and development, or are you on the brokerage real estate, or
But
both?
I love the development. I guess I don't know. I love the development a lot. Creating is it's refreshing and it's fulfilling.
Mhm.
So I love the development side.
That is so awesome. So now you
Until
got these three
I
condos.
don't like it. So
See what now? Until you don't like it.
until I don't like it.
And so you got 9 homes and 9 properties that you're renting out. And so now you're gonna have the condo. And what are construction costs like? So you're building 3 condos,
Hmm.
and what's the cost? If you're saying I think you said
It's about
they're gonna
800.
cost
It's
about a
about eight
half a
hundred
million
K.
dollars each. They'll sell
Not
for $500,000 each. You
so
said.
yeah. The first one will be around 650 in Boston. The prices is crazy, and then minimum is 550, 550 on the other 2 floors.
So what percentage profit? You don't have to tell me the dollar. What percentage profit would you make on one condo?
On
20%, 30%?
on so on the if we stick to those numbers and we stick to the 920, um, the first 2 condos will pay. So you're hovering around 600,000.
Of how much it's going to cost?
No, you're making after
Oh, wow.
everything's sold.
So it's about 300,000 to build them, somewhere roughly.
Yeah, exactly. A little under.
A little under that. Wow.
Yep.
I see why folks get into real estate development.
Yeah.
Atlanta right now is
And they're
going
not paying.
through.
They're not paying for it. You think they had the money? No, they ain't paying for it. That's why the bank. If you look at these gates and say you see the bank name, you see it for finance by. You see it
Right.
for a reason. You see it for a reason.
So you think you're going to do more real estate development? I know up in
Of
Boston.
course, of
Okay.
course, of
Okay.
course.
All right. Well, that's awesome. So now we've got about 15 minutes left. So I want to talk. So we dealt with the whole initiative, and I don't even know what you call it, buy a home for your baby initiative. So now you got the mortgage before marriage. Explain that.
Mortgage before marriage, finances before fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce. So we, again, I think it's extremely important. And I wrote this book really for women, right? About a little over 20% of women are in relationships that they can't get out of because it's too expensive to leave. That's 20% of bad relationships that a woman can't get out of because it's too expensive to leave. 20%.
Alice, can you see that
Yeah.
mortgage before marriage? You can see that.
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right, go
Right.
ahead. Sir.
So that's 20% versus 3% of men stay in a relationship because of finances. Right. So I'm like, okay, why are we pushing our women to find that ring, to get that ring from that man so fast instead of pushing our women to be financially empowered? Right. So
Wow.
so this is really the book. This is how the book kind of like, let me play around with this idea. And then I brought the men in and not made it. I didn't want to make it all about the woman, but that mortgage before marriage, I think we should solve the problem before we get into any type of relationship. I need to take care of my finances before I enjoy someone else's finances. I need to get a mortgage before I live under someone else's roof with a mortgage. I need to take care of myself. I need to be in a marriage that I want to be in, not that I need to be in.
Got it. So how long do you think it'll take to do this quiz?
It's a quick quiz, and but not unfortunately, but fortunately, you do get it after you submit your email address and all that. So you're not gonna get it right here on online. I gotta get your information.
Okay. So we could do it in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, but you won't get the info right away. It will email to you.
Okay, that's okay.
All
You
right,
can just give us some stuff to talk about. Okay.
Yep.
So let's start this quiz here. Okay. All right. Hotel, child education, housing, child. Okay. Set yourself up for marriage success by seeing where your financial know-how stands. No worries if you don't have the answers. You will soon. Okay, we're going to take the quiz. Do you know each other's credit score?
You should know each other's credit score.
I'll say yes.
Yep.
Have you set goals together for how much you'd like to save each year when you plan to retire? Oh, absolutely.
All right. Remember, you're married already, man.
Okay, all right.
You're married already. You already solved this problem.
But we're newlyweds. We're going on close to 4 years. Thank you. And we started real estate investing within the first year. So, matter of fact, I think we got married in February 17th, 2018. And about 2 or 3 months later, we were in seminars learning how to invest in real estate. Okay. So, and we bought our first property in 2019. Mm-hmm. We have 2. We're getting ready to buy another one in the next week or so. So anyway, yeah. Do you own a home? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, are you comfortable talking about money and looking at each other's bank statements and credit reports? Absolutely. Do you both have mentors? I'd say, well, yes, we do. We have a real estate mentor. Okay. Does that count?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Do you have savings or retirement account? Yes.
Yes, you better.
Okay. All right. So let me put my little email address in here, and let's see, get my result. Will I get him? Quickly. So those questions are designed to answer some questions, right, and to bring up a conversation about it. And I used to do seminars for married people, and one of the things that would come up, they'd rather talk about sex than talk about money. Exactly. And the reason I think is, and I don't know if this has been your experience, is because when you talk about money, and we talked about this right before the show, it brings in a lot of baggage from how you were raised and how you dealt with money. In that case, is that the case with you? Seeing your mom work 2 jobs and just struggling, did that?
I call it financial diabetes.
Okay.
If diabetes is not generation, it's something that it's not in your blood. I've got diabetes in my family. No, this is what happens. Your mother cooks fried chicken. Going to teach you how to cook fried chicken. You're going to teach your child how to cook fried chicken. Then that child going to teach their child how to cook fried chicken. Then y'all all have diabetes. So when you see bad financial tips or bad financial health, guess who else going to have bad financial health, right? And that's why in my house, you can't use the word broke. Don't use the word broke because I'm not really broke. If I don't want to give you money, I'm not going to say I'm broke. I'm just going to say I don't want to give you money because I don't want to wish broke on myself when I'm not broke, right? So it's extremely important. Kids not hearing that word broke, because if you driving a nice car, you having these nice homes, it's all right, broke is cool then. I want to be broke. No, where do I be? I'm broke is hiring. I want to be broke. You know what I'm saying? So wordplay is extremely important, and understanding where you get your behavior and erasing it and reteaching, and relearning.
And that's the challenge, is what conversations. Does anybody eat around the dinner table anymore? I mean, I don't know.
I think that happens. You should. So again, this is building. That's why the trust and the ideas is just taking so long. My children, I definitely want my children to, one, they're going to be responsible for a bill. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a car note, it's going to be electric bill, is going to be something, right? And I also will charge them for tissues and all the stuff that they need to survive, right? They'll pay from their chores, and then they'll file taxes and get the money back every year. Simple. That's simple class. That's all day. We will have fun with it, but that's the plan that my wife and I put together. It's a good plan, but it's teaching them real life. It's no such age. Success doesn't have an age. Success doesn't have an age. So we need to stop thinking when our child is. No, now. now.
Is your wife in the business with you, or does she have her own career?
Yeah,
She's,
nope. She's in. I just went to a closing for her today.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
So you're rocking and rolling then.
yeah,
And well, hey, we encourage you to come on down to Atlanta. We always could use some more positive people. You know,
definitely.
just the driving is crazy around here. Folks just
Yeah,
shoot people on the highways and all kind of crazy stuff because of you carpetbaggers. You know,
yeah.
which I'm one too, as they say. What would be so? Where's your focus? What are the top 3 or 4 things that you're working on right now outside of the? Well, let's look at I'm not going to even try to prejudice you about what you're working on. What are the top 3 or 4 priorities that you have right now?
Right now, is the book is number one right now. The
A
book is
book?
number one. The book is number
Oh, you
one.
write a book? Okay,
That's Mortgage Before Marriage. That's the book.
that's a book. Okay, I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a book.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why
Okay.
I asked for your info. So when the book drop, I'm gonna send you. Hey, the book's dropping. Buy it.
Okay. Okay.
Buy
So
10.
the book, it's not a book, but you're developing it. You're writing it.
Oh yeah, it's almost done. So we starting. It's in editing. So now we starting promotion.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Because and I've written 2 books, and now the way everything has changed with the internet and with companies like Amazon. Beforehand you had to have a publisher. Well, now
Yep.
you don't.
You don't
You can
have to.
publish a book. You can put it up on Amazon and sell it yourself through social
Yep.
media or whatever the marketing
Yep.
ideas or avenues that you might have. And just like with music, before you needed a record company. Well, now you don't. You could
Yeah.
produce your own music, put it up on Spotify, wherever they say. I'm not into all of that, but Spotify and all the streaming services, and sell it on iTunes. So the model has changed.
Hmm.
I think there's never been a greater time for folks to generate wealth
Well,
than now. And who
yeah,
would have
man.
known? Who would have known that the internet, high speed internet? See, I'm around when the '90s and '91 and '90 when they had AOL.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, there's never a better time now to generate wealth because you
Look,
don't have to leave your house to do it. You
my,
can stay in your little house,
yeah.
little avenue.
One of my friends was like, "Oh, let's start a nonprofit." I'm like, "Why are we starting a nonprofit in 2021? That doesn't make sense. Let's start profiting in 2021. If you don't know when you're gonna get this time back, we
Right.
could start making a lot of money and then we could do a nonprofit. But we shouldn't be talking about non-profit. No, we want profit, right? This is the opportunity for everyone out there to buy real estate, to buy stocks. I just put my car on Toro yesterday. I booked two. I already got 2 bookings. This stuff excites me. I'm like, all right, how can I scale this? I'm watching videos. I'm learning more because I just want to live a life that I'm not paying for. That's all I want
Right.
to do. That's all we want to do.
I've interviewed, Alex, folks, and it's and I don't particularly focus on African Americans. It
Yeah.
just shows that I'd rather have an African American on because they got their own. But and I've had white folks on, but I've interviewed people in the vending business,
Yeah.
okay, trucking business, mobile homes,
Yeah.
apartments,
Yeah.
hotels.
Mm.
These are all black folks doing this kind of stuff, and these stories is the narratives are not shared
Yep.
unfortunately, through the media. And that's why we have to have our own media to do those type of things to get what we, as you well know, passive income. Because I don't want another
Extremely
job.
important. That's
In real estate, I'm a buy and hold kind of guy because
same
some
here.
people do flipping and wholesaling and all that. Well, flipping is a job because once I flip that house, I got to flip another one.
No, but
And that's short term. That's short
but you
term
got
gain. That's
and you have to take care of your partner, the IRS. You
right.
gotta take care of your
Exactly.
partner, right?
Exactly.
So don't forget about that. With the home we bought our son, we are Airbnb that home,
Okay.
and we are going to generate 20,000 a month.
Wow.
I'm putting it in the air. So call me a liar. You gonna watch this video, but that dude's a liar. Go for it. Alex E. Edwards on Instagram, all social media. Come
Uh-huh.
look me up and see if I did it because this is going to happen. I promise you, it's going to happen. I did my numbers. I know what I have to do. I'm putting a gym in there. It's a game room as well in there. I know what I have to do. It's on one floor. It has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Another floor, one bedroom, another 4, 3 bedrooms, and then you still got the gym and you have the entertainment room, I know I'm going to get my 20,000. I promise you
So,
that.
so this house that you bought for your son
Mhm.
is not just a single family home. This is an
Oh no, it's a
Airbnb.
multi. Yeah,
It's multi.
I don't
Okay,
need
I
a
got
single.
you. Okay.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's a multi-family home. I'm making money on every floor.
On every floor. Okay. Hey,
Yeah, it's
that
a multi-family home. So it's going to generate. And the funny thing, if you come to my house right now, it's $20,000 on everywhere. 20K. My son's like, what's 20K? Everywhere on the wall, because I'm going for it. And I'm gonna come back to the show and say, I told you, I'm going for it, and the book's gonna be a bestseller. I promise you that.
I can see it because I said during this whole COVID and pandemic, I said that if you don't come out of this pandemic with a new skill, a side hustle, then you don't lack time, you lack discipline.
Mhm.
Think about that for a second. Everybody's sequestered at home for the last 15 months, and you told me, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do. No, you just lack discipline because you have the time now because you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Can't go to the movies, can't go to plays, can't go to concerts, can't go to the beach, can't do any of that. So
Mhm.
you're staying at home. And if and that's why Home Depot stock went through the roof. People sitting around like, this painting sucks. I'm gonna knock that wall down because I want a man cave or whatever. So I think that this is a special time
Special
in,
time.
in life right now.
Special time.
Quickly, so what do you think is going to happen? They had this moratorium on evictions, and there's going to be a tsunami at some point where all these houses that folks are sitting on comes to the market. What is your thoughts on
I
that?
think it's gonna be a bailout. I think it's gonna be a huge forgiveness bill.
To bail out people with landlords with mortgages?
Landlord, because I just my opinion. One is not their fault. We have governors coming on TV saying, "Hey, you don't have to pay your rent." I think that was disrespectful. I think that was wrong, and it made it created bad energy between the landlord and the tenant. I think that was just, and my tenant's not even paying. One of the tenants not paying their rent, and they just bought a new car. So how that's gonna make me feel? You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
I think
right.
I think it was wrong for the government to say, hey, guess what? You don't have to, and don't come up with a deal for the landlord. You should
Well,
have said, all right,
the way I look at it from a political standpoint, what that means is that the real estate doesn't have a strong enough lobby because it all comes down to money. Because that's crazy. Most of the millionaires and billionaires got real estate. So how did that work? Unless it's different. I just didn't understand that. Because you didn't give the landlords any mortgage relief. Oh, we could refinance, put
but
on
you
the back
gave
of the loan.
business.
I still got to pay it.
Yeah, but you did. Businesses made a lot of money, right? And I guess maybe you see it like, hey, a lot of landlords own businesses, right? So that's where they was going to get their funds. But you couldn't use the PPP loans for rent, right? For mortgage, from my understanding.
Right.
So I don't know. To me, again, I don't understand why you have to create that energy between the tenant and the landlord, right?
Yeah,
That's just
it
my
did. It did
opinion.
create, and the CDC. I guess they were thinking of consumers, but there are a lot of folks that took advantage of that.
A
And,
lot
and
of
here's the problem: is that okay? They didn't say forgive the rent. You just don't have to pay it now, which means at some point you have to pay it. So if you go 6 months, a year, that might be 15, 20, $30,000. Where are they going to get that money from? It made no sense.
made no
But
sense.
hey,
I
real
think
estate. Real estate industry didn't have a strong
well,
enough lobby to lobby their
I always say
politicians.
if anybody want to win a seat, just go ahead and give something to the tenants. You won. There you go. Rent control. You won. There you go. If you want to lose, landlords need to get paid more. You lost.
we got about a minute left, Alex. Do you want to give people your contact information so they can find you?
Definitely is Alex E. Edwards on all social media. Flipping Bricks University on IG. Flipping Bricks U on IG. And again, Alex E. Edwards on all social media. If you have any questions, come check me out. Take the quiz. Mortgage B number 4 marriage.com. And thank you for having me.
And send that information to me via email or text so I can post it when it posts up. Okay.
All right.
Alex. I want you to come back when the book comes out.
Definitely. I'm gonna come back when I make 20K.
Hey, you got it, man. All
I'm gonna
right.
come back then.
All right. Much success to you, man.
All
All right.
right.
Take care now.